Welcome to Student Spotlight, a presentation of College Success Arizona. This program features the hardworking college students who have earned scholarships from College Success Arizona and are pursuing their educational goals and career passions. Today on Student Spotlight, we interview Sirrene Ayyad.
So I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and I lived out in Chicago until I was 19 years old, and then I moved to California for about 6 years, and now I'm here in Arizona. I've been here for about 4.
And how old are you currently?
I'm 29.
And what are you studying?
So currently, right now, I'm studying. I'm taking the prerequisites to get to apply to dental school. But when I'm all finished and done, I'll have a bachelor's in a fine arts.
You'll have a bachelor's in fine arts, and then you're going to apply for dental school here in Phoenix?
Yes.
And you graduated high school back in Chicago?
Correct.
How do you like Phoenix versus Los Angeles or Chicago?
I love the weather. I love that it's sunny pretty much 365 days of the year. So I love how that you can just be able to get outside and stay active. And I love the sunshine and just being able to, some states, like especially with Chicago, it has 4 seasons. So a lot of time it was really dreary. Whereas here you have sunshine majority of the year round.
And I understand that you're also a single mother?
Correct.
How old is your child?
He's 4.
Excellent. And your desire to be a dentist, is that a long-term thing or is it more recent?
It was a long-term thing. It's more recent, but I've always kind of wanted to be a dentist, but I always thought I wasn't smart enough until about a few years ago, until I was inspired by a pastor and then also a dentist that I was working for at the time that anyone can do it. So I think that just having that guidance and people encouraging me was really rewarding, and I was really grateful to have those people in my life to say that it just takes some hard work to do what you want to do, but most importantly that anyone can do it if you just work hard.
And you graduate, you're scheduled to graduate from, you're attending ASU?
No, I'm currently in community college, and I'll transfer out to, I'll do NAU, and I'll be done with NAU in the year of 2020, and I'll apply in dental school in 2019.
Oh, I see. So you'll graduate community college in 2018.
Community college.
Gotcha. And then NAU in 2020, and then it's on to dental school beyond that.
Correct.
And dental school is what, a couple years?
A 4-year program.
So you have a good 6-7 years of school ahead of you.
Yes.
And at what point, you mentioned earlier the pastor and working for a dentist, is that the point that really sort of transitioned in your life where you said, I'm going to go for it?
Yeah, I think that was like the transitional point, was just gaining more confidence in myself. And then, I think just for my pastor, and then just doing some sitting down and having him counsel me through some life counseling, just having him counsel me through some stuff, that it was really inspired that he just asked me some of those open-ended questions for me to open up about what I really wanted to do, and ask me some of those important questions. So I was like, wow, I've always wanted to be a dentist. But again, like I said, my whole entire life, my mom and just some really close people, I should say, have impacted me, saying that, I wasn't going to be good enough or smart enough to attend college or to do anything beyond the point of an entry-level job.
Well, that wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very encouraging, is it? Well, and when you're young, you tend to believe what the older people tell you, whether it be your parents or role models, mentors, people around you, right? It creates a belief system.
Exactly.
And then you get older and you realize, no, maybe that's not the case. I can do pretty much anything I want.
Exactly, yep.
Well, good for you.
True.
And being in Estrella Mountain Community College, do you find it challenging, rewarding?
I honestly find it rewarding. I think that they do a really good job about connecting with people on campus, and I really enjoy how their teaching skill is there, about how you're able to learn. So it's not the initial thing when you first hear something or something's being taught. They talk about how it's being understood, but you don't really, just because you understand doesn't mean that you have learned it. So they really make sure that you actually learn it by going out and using your peers to be able to, teach other people what you've learned. And I love that, because I think that's so true. And just being able to have study groups and learning from other people and sharing things and being able to express different things to different individuals on the subject, it really helps the learning process. So I really do enjoy it over there.
I also have a note here that you run your own business. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I was working in a dental office full time back in 2015, and I ended up just So back in 2015, I started a business at the beginning of that year in January, and I was at the time working full-time at a dental office where I was like, oh, I kind of want something of my own, because in my earlier life, back in like when I went to college, back in my early 20s, a professor always said that it's always good to have something of your own income just in case something happens to like a job. So I just kind of was like, oh, I really like cleaning. So I think, why not just clean medical offices since I've been in the dental field pretty much my whole life. Why not just clean dental practices or specialize in like those medical practices since I can look for like blood splatter and just different things like that. So I was at my church one day and I just handed out a card, and this guy was actually looking for a client. He was using a company at the time, and I just started my business as a sole proprietor, and I have him, and now I've expanded out to 2 different clients. So I have 3 clients total.
Outstanding.
So it helps me to go through school. So
I guess so. Can you talk about that, the balance of school, being a single mother to, you said, I believe, a 4-year-old son, and running your own business with 3 clients?
Yeah, so as far as I actually, I have someone that works for me, so they do some of the offices. There's an office over in Phoenix. I take on one office here on the West Valley, and then there's 2 of the offices out in Phoenix, one here. So someone that in Phoenix actually goes and cleans that one. I just do one of them on the weekends in the West Valley here, which is easy for me to do, and I enjoy it because it kind of helps me to relieve stress. And as far as staying managed and organized, I think that really comes from just being having good time management, just writing down what I have to get done in like a daily planner, and then also just planning throughout my semester. I have like this little Microsoft sheet that I use with tables on it of just what I'm going to study, how I'm going to study, how many hours, what days I'm in class, and what classes need more attention. So I just kind of plan my time around that. And then my son, it's crazy, but I feel like I don't really have any time for myself, except for I go to the gym in the morning. So, but in the afternoons, I pick him up, and then I do spend the rest of the days that I have with him, because I do like every other week. So his dad will take him for a week, and then I'll have him for a week. So the weeks that I do have him, I make sure that I pick him up and get him dinner made, and we read books together for about 30 minutes before bed. And we'll work on like some things that he needs to work on, like his name and stuff like that. And working on some different types of words that he needs to help him get to kindergarten next year.
Outstanding. And you talked about, again, school and being a single mother. And you mentioned earlier that you'd gone to school, I believe maybe back in Chicago or Los Angeles, in your early 20s. Now you're in your late 20s. Can you talk about those 2 different experiences, going to school then versus now?
Yeah, so I think the main thing was when I went back to my early 20s, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I didn't really have a major. So I kind of didn't really take it as serious as I am now. So back then I was just trying to figure out still who I was and what I wanted to do and if I could even do school. And I actually did really poorly back in my early 20s because I was like, well, what's motivating me? What's my why? And at that point I didn't know what motivated me or what my why was back in my early 20s, whereas now I have such a passion for what I'm going to go to school for that it's so much worth it because I know my why and I know why I'm here and why I'm going to school. And actually, I have a 3.9 grade point average, which I'm excited about because my whole entire life, I really did, when I was in school, did poorly in school. So just the hard work, I think, is really important in what you really want to do, that you can really, the hard work and just anything can really pay off if you really just put your mind to it.
And having that 3.9 GPA, that kind of tells the people who discouraged you from going to school, who said you'd only be good for an entry-level job, you should maybe send them a copy of your GPA.
I know I have, and they're shocked too. So they're starting to jump on board more. But at first, when I first went back to school, when I told them that I was going to be a full-time student last year, the people that were close to me that had doubted me my whole life were like, well, I don't think you can do it. You think that you're going to be a dentist. You haven't even read a full book in your life before, which I have, but they've been very few books. But so it's now they're starting to jump on board. But yeah, they did mention some things like that to me, and they were all last year. I really struggled with that. When I was struggling, I couldn't go to those close people that were immediate family members to me, because they would always doubt me. So I couldn't just go to them and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, because they would be like, well, we don't know why you left your full-time job to do this and this and that. we told you it was going to be hard, and I don't know why you did it, and it's going to be hard for you, and you're not going to probably be able to do it. So they still were doubting me, whereas I really leaned on my church family and them to really help me through that process, and they still do. So.
Well, and I imagine having a 4-year-old son now that you didn't have in your early 20s is also a major sense of purpose and motivation to give him a good life.
Exactly. That is very true. Yes. I want him to know that he can do whatever it is. And I want to be able to be like a testimony to him too, that, he's not, no one's like, just because everybody learns differently, that really anyone can put their mind to something. And that is so important to me, because I went through like speech therapy, like my, all through elementary school. And so even my speech therapist would say, oh, tell my mom, oh, she's only going to be able to work an entry-level job. She'll probably be able to live out on her own, but I don't know if she really will be. And so they used to say all these things, like she won't be able to go to college. She won't be able to, she probably will, won't graduate high school. And she said all these things back in elementary school. And I didn't know any of these things until like a couple of years ago when my mom told me about it. But that was really hurtful too. So, I mean, I can't blame some of the close people that were to me, because they were hearing it from people that were coaching, like I guess, tutoring me back then and saying these things to me. So.
And how did you learn about College Success Arizona?
I heard about it from Matt. Matt actually gave me a link to it for the scholarship to fill it out.
Gotcha. Matt Sotelo. Matt Sotelo is your success advisor, basically your academic advisor. I'll just give a little information for people listening. Right. So he works with you, and you've also been awarded up to $6,000 a year for educational expenses. I guess first off, talk about how that the financial aspect of the scholarship has helped you.
The scholarship is going to help me to be able to help me with just expenses. I do live on my own, so. I think just helping with a little bit more of just expenses, like day-to-day expenses, because right now I struggle, and I have to, honestly, this sounds embarrassing, but I have to ask my mom for toilet paper and paper towels, so she'll give me a couple rolls of toilet paper and paper towels from my place, because it's hard to pay for those little toiletry things and things that I need on a day-to-day basis. So I think the scholarship is going to help with those type of things. That sounds crazy, but it's true.
No, I completely understand. I think we've all had those points in our life. And Matt is your academic advisor. Essentially, he's kind of helping you through the college experience. Can you talk about that experience, the role that Matt has played in your life so far?
He's been honestly amazing. He really has helped me to he'll send me out scholarships. And I actually got this semester, I got... besides your guys', I got a another $1,500 from two different scholarships this semester too. So an additional $1,500 on top of what I was rewarded through the College Success. So I think Matt just sending me out those scholarship things, always just checking in, letting us know what's going on with the programs, what's going on with College Success, what's going on on campus has been awesome. Just being able to connect in those things that the programs that they had on campus or with College Success to be able to network with other people, which I think is key too. And he would always too, he'll try to he would be oh, let me see, let's look. He would look at me the prerequisites through dental school and ask my plans and ask those questions, those maybe some of those hard questions of okay, how are you going to plan this, or how are you going to do this class? So he's been awesome. I really am grateful for him, because he has been really encouraging and really good at what he does. So I'm grateful.
And you've been through it by the sounds of it. You have overcome challenge. You're overcoming challenge. And when I say you've been through it, that is you put up with a lot of doubt and skepticism from people in your life. And I guess looking at that you are overcoming things, what advice can you offer to middle and high school students who may be facing challenges but still have a dream to go to college?
I would tell them to. I'll just say from experience. I was a peer mentor on campus, so I had a lot of students that came in that were either just out of high school or just out of or returning students like myself at one point. So they were below 100 level classes, and I was there once. So I think that you always have to start somewhere, but don't give up on what you want to do, because I feel like you have to figure out what your why is. Why are you here for school? And I feel like having an education, you can get so much, especially in today's society. You'll get so much further with an education than not having one. Yeah, you can, climb the chain like your job, but having an education I find myself I feel like I'm a lot smarter since I've gone to school and just been able to learn. And so I just would encourage students to just take that learning posture and learn something new and grow and just continue to learn and grow in yourself. Because I feel like you just really find out who you are and what you have inside of you if you just really pull that out of yourself. Because I really, back then in my early 20s or even back in high school, I would never think that I'd be here and doing this. And I wish I would have experienced it earlier in life, but I'm glad that I'm here too. And just go through the journey.
Thank you so much for the interview, Sirrene, and for working so hard to make a difference in our community. And by the way, since 2005, College Success Arizona has worked with nearly 1,300 students just like Sirrene and provided more than $16 million in scholarships and success services to help increase the college attainment rate in Arizona. If you would like to be part of the mission of providing educational opportunity to high-potential students from low-income circumstances, your tax-deductible contribution can be made through the Donate button located on the College Success Arizona website at collegesuccessarizona.org.